Good morning, good day, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome back. Welcome back to Divinity Original Sin. Last time we left off, we finally freed the White Witch, Ikara, I think was her name, right? From her eternal ice prison in Heiberheim, where she was kept due to her sister Leandra, which we still, who we still following and trying to somehow make her schemes not succeed. Ikara, her sister, was also trying to accomplish that, and she also avenged her lover by killing a puppet servant, the very one that whose murder we were investigating. She told us about that last time, and in order to free her, we killed the mad King Boreas, who wasn't actually that mad. He was one of the 4 season kings of the Fey realm, controlling winter, and made a pact with Leandra. Didn't seem too bright, all things considered, so it seemed very clear to me that Leandra very much took advantage of that and forced him essentially to do her evil schemes and help her rather than do anything for himself. Anyway, that's where we left off. Had some sort of a big battle last time with King Boreas. It wasn't the most complicated thing ever, but very much enjoyable, especially because all the different elements sort of played a role in that. And now we will be going back to the place beyond space and time to talk to the imp that we've been talking to the entire game already, and also the Weaver of Time will hopefully be there. And Ikara very much seemed to see something in us, which we don't really know about yet. We do know that we as Source Hunters, meaning the 2 main characters, apparently are or were some pretty powerful creature in the past, being god-like thing, and we ourselves don't really know that much about it though. So we'll see how that plays out and whether or not we finally get some more information about all of that. So let's get into it. Let's start the game and see what we can accomplish. Let's see. Where did we leave off? In Heiberheim. There we go. So I think, even though I do want to check out a couple more places here in Heiberheim, I probably want to start off by going to the space beyond, and hopefully we'll get a lot of information. There are a couple of places still, especially this back here, but also over here. I think there's like a chest or some loot potentially. So those are a couple of places that I still want to check out, but it's not going anywhere, right? So we can do that later, I suppose. It might be that because this does look like a pretty intricate area back here as well, it might be that that comes into play later, and it's not necessarily something that we want to deal with at this point in time. But obviously we'll see about that, and we'll see whether or not it will become something of importance. The end of time. Let's go back. Let's do this. Let's see what we did, who we freed, and how that hopefully helps us with things. This place is still somewhat strange to me. I don't know. It's always seemed somewhat disconnected to the rest of the game, which it is, right? I mean, it's very much on purpose that it's disconnected from everything, but sometimes I feel like you should come back here more often, but there never really seems to be any reason to do so.
Very, very cold.
Hello. Well, you all seem to be getting cozy in here. I was always wondering why there were 4 chairs.
Weaver, if you know all that is past and present, does that mean you know the future as well?
Alas, no. I can predict with a degree of certainty, but I cannot speak of what is to come unequivocally. Time and I are one, but we must both run our course before reaching reality.
That sounds very profound. Okay, yeah, I'm somewhat surprised that they're all sitting here. Like, Arhu and Ikara almost look like they belong in those chairs. It's not an impression I had gotten up until this point.
Prophecies regarding the what was it again? Oh yes, the so-called damned one.
Not lately, Master. Indeed, I very much fear that until the void is caged once more, there will be no future to prophesy.
Well, we do know that Arhu was sent to Cyseal, though, by the Impia, right? That, anyways, let's talk to them.
This tapestry represents all of time. One wouldn't think time itself would include so many threads dangling temptingly where any claw could reach it.
Look alive, Madam Weaver. Our friend Ahu here is no better than the void when his instincts overcome him. Clawing at time and void, he wouldn't, would he?
I mean, honestly, it was a very important observation, though. I mean, it very much seems to be pretty, susceptible to damage, if you will.
The Lady of Time, the Weaver of History.
Okay, yeah, stop talking. Zigzags, let's talk to him.
Good to see you on the shelter plane. A home away from home, is it not?
Let's update him on our progress. Let's see what he says. I've seen Leandra at work in Heiberheim. She's using starstones to turn them into bloodstones. I don't think we've talked to him about this, right?
Of all the wicked things, the one substance that can stand in the way of the void, and she's turning it into vessels of blight.
I mean, seems pretty smart if you ask me, right? Using the very thing that we need in order to stop her for her own gains. Well, then again, we'll see how it turns out, right? Because if in the end we can either reverse the process or somehow still utilize the magic that might be bound in those bloodstones for our benefit, then maybe it'll blow up in her face, but yeah, I don't know if that's a possibility. I was gonna say, I'm not entirely sure when I was last here to talk to them. It doesn't feel like it has been too long. I mean, we dealt with the this other sort of mad king in Cyseal, and I was definitely here after that talking to them about that. Well, the crazy thing is, right, I dealt with everything in Cyseal and wanted to go to Silver Glen. And on the way to Silver Glen, I was barely into the new, what's it called? The new map, right? That I guess surrounds Silver Glen, and we already had the quest for the White Witch, right? So there was a hut, and the quest was leading us sort of to the, I guess it was sort of the southeast or something of that map, or it might have been the south, to Ikara's hut, right? And I presumed, well, obviously there would be fighting, right? Obviously it wouldn't just be you know, we go there and just talk to her. But the travel that it turned out to be was very unexpected, because now that I'm thinking about it, because that's what we were on, right? And I haven't really done anything else in between. We were in Sicil, and we dealt with the Mad King. I'm forgetting his name because all I'm thinking about is King Boreas, but that was the guy in Heiberheim, and Brachus Rex was his name, right? So we dealt with that guy in Sicil, moved on to Silverglen, and well, I started doing the quest for the White Witch first, right? Which led me to her HUD. And you would assume, well, you know, maybe there's a dungeon below it, right? And we'll deal with somebody, we'll fight a little bit, and then the quest will continue. But no. We went to the HUD. We had to disable, you know, a shield around it, which involved a puzzle with some mushrooms, while also dealing with 3 waves of Immaculates, I think it was. Then we got into the hut, right? Then we like looked around a little bit in it, discovered a back sort of entrance or exit into a cave, went through the entire cave, which was not a small cave at all, and from that cave then traveled to the Fey Realm, which then prompted me to essentially have a completely new map, like an entire map, a pretty big one at that we traveled through, resolving multiple other sort of smaller things while we were doing that, going through that entire map to ultimately end up at King Boreas's castle and defeated him. But if you really think about it, all of that was just this one simple quest of us wanting to talk to the White Witch. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't have a problem with it being this intricate, it's just crazy to me to sort of think back, oh yeah, we essentially only really did one thing with all of that, right? Which is even more crazy considering that I think it took me at least sort of 10 hours or something, maybe even more, to get through all of that. I would have to look at my VODs and everything, but it's a very intricate quest, to be honest. Especially since it did involve about, I don't know, 15 to 20 different battles, all things considered. Which is kind of crazy, even compared to everything that I did before, right? Oh well.
You'll have to redouble your efforts, my friend. You'll have to find more starstones before she does and forestall her insidious distortions.
We haven't really... Have we found any sort of other starstone, though? Well, considering everything I just said, we didn't actually do that much. Right? I mean, we did do a lot, but not really necessarily plot-related other than following after the White Witch. So, yeah, no starstones for us in that whole ordeal, I think. Yeah, let's talk to the others first, I
One can't
think.
help but wonder where the gods have run off to in all this. The void won't spare them, you know. There's no hiding from the great nothing.
Are there some gods who would help us then?
How might I serve our mission?
I've met with Leandra in the realm of Heiberheim. She's using the Starstones to create Bloodstone.
Leandra. She desires to be Mother of the Void, but you have the power to undo her born-in-blood litter. Though they be baptized in blood, you can cleanse the Starstones still, and use them to thwart their grim queen.
Well, we knew that already, okay. Let's talk to Ikara last. Arhu.
How can I help you, my friend?
Right. This is interesting. So, I don't think he really told us about that, did he? Learned about the relationship between Zandalore and the Witch Sisters. You told me you had no idea who the stranger in the inn could have been. He did say that, didn't he? Well, then again, maybe he really didn't know or just suspected?
Yes, that was a small fib on my part, I'm afraid. Zandalore is known as the Keeper of the Source, after all. And I didn't know how Source Hunters would react to my association with such a colorful character.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, to be completely fair here, right? It did turn out to be much, much more than what we originally expected, or, you know, what I thought the murder might be about. So if we had just learned, oh yeah, there was somebody who used Source to murder this Counselor Jake, and we didn't really have any other context besides that, we probably would have tried to find Ikara and just get rid of her, I guess? I don't know. Then again, I mean, Arhu from the beginning has been pretty, pretty important to this entire investigation. I mean, we certainly wouldn't have gotten as far as we did, I think, without him, so it wouldn't really have been fair to then, turn on him or not take in his counsel. I don't know. I mean, clearly all of this is now far beyond this initial murder investigation, right? So I don't think it really makes too much sense to, I guess, harp on about that too much. I don't know. Let's talk to Ikara.
A question has me stumped, milady. Why are there two of us?
I am that. I've already heard that.
I see Master Zigzags has upgraded from his shabby little hut at the edge of the hour. From the fairy dimension to the, space-time weaver hunter imp one. What do you call this place again?
Yeah, that's about what I've been calling it, to be completely honest.
I spin origins besides.
It is somewhat intriguing. So, wait, she clearly knew Zigzags before, right? Because that's what she essentially opened with when we finally talked to her. So, he upgraded this plane? Well, that kind of depends on when last she spoke to him, I guess. This is our homestead on the shelter plane at the end of time. That's a little bit of a weird sentence, considering that we still don't really know who we even are, or why we specifically seem to be able to use this as our homestead. I mean, we have found rooms that very clearly were at one point in time, even though that sentence, considering that time, seems to be somewhat irrelevant in this place, but we did find rooms that looked like they belonged to us. I guess at that time I didn't even really think about the implications there. I just sort of took it at face value, I guess. Because I took it as if we used this place at another point in time, right? Or that we somehow had to do similar business at some point in the past to what we're doing currently, right? Thwarting off some great evil that is threatening to destroy the entire fabric of space and time. But this seems to suggest, yeah, I guess I didn't really think about it this way, where maybe we were the ones who built the space in the first place? But what would that suggest? I mean, it has been heavily, you know, there has been some heavy implications that we might be some sort of godlike, or had in the past were some sort of godlike being, or at least had, you know, powers on that level. But would we then literally be able to create this entire place, I wonder? Unless we are the gods of space and time? Which would be kind of crazy. Well, whatever. Maybe she has some comments about that.
Ha! Is that so? It seems I have my share to learn about the magical world yet. The end of time. Well, suddenly your association with Master Zigzags makes sense.
Does it?
Well, I must say, it's no small relief to find myself in a safe haven among such allies.
Huh. Well, anyways, let's start from the beginning. How is your sister involved with the dire happenings around Rivellon?
I believe the answer to that begins centuries ago, when your order was still cutting down so-called dark magicians by the dozens. Ours was a family of born sorcerers, you see. It was in our blood to interact with Source, but our parents were determined to curb the power within us. Still, their meekness wouldn't save them from the Source Hunters.
Okay. I mean, I'm trying to remember. So the whole business with the Source Hunters came about because people used Source for, well, bad things. For evil, in a way, right? It seems so simple, though, compared to... well, then again, maybe we are completely disconnected from that and just happen to be Source Hunters now, for some reason.
I am, but there is more to our kind than they teach at your academy. Source isn't only blood and madness. It's like lightning, an exquisite current of great power.
Well, that much has become clear. Very much so, yeah.
We sorcerers are like metal steeples. Source is drawn to us and it flows through us. But what so many fail to understand is that Source can be controlled. The power-drunk through history have abused it, and all the world's sorcerers have borne terrible consequences.
What consequences?
Tell me, Source Hunter, in all your hours studying the arcane arts, did your great masters ever suggest that perhaps not all sorcerers were evil?
I mean, when you really think about it, I guess, you know, it would be very obvious that not all of them were evil. That's always the case, right?
Did you ever hear, even once, that some of us were weak and gentle? That we could be simple forest folk healing the sick and frozen each winter?
Is that only Source, though? Because isn't there other magic that can do similar things? In which case, why would you need to use Source for that?
No. I doubt also that they'd mention that one day this hunt of yours would birth a broken soul powerful enough to inch all of Rivellon toward oblivion.
Okay. You mean to blame Leandra's doings on we Source Hunters? Well... I guess it's, you know, story as old as time, pun intended. seems that Leandra is doing what she's doing because she's kind of on a revenge plot because her parents and whatnot were killed for interacting with Source. Can kind of see that. Doesn't excuse her dealings, obviously, but certainly makes the plot a lot more interesting.
No, that would be going too far and eschewing my own responsibility. I believe Leandra's long fall down did begin at the hands of some of your own order, but it was I who sparked all of this.
Okay. Do elaborate. You mean someone of our own order killed your parents?
They came on a quiet morning. My mother was wild with fright and commanded me to hide myself and Leandra outside, among the trees. Even at that young age, we knew not to question her. We climbed high into the branches of a nearby tree, and before we could look away, our parents were cut down without ceremony before our door.
That does sound pretty brutal, to be fair. So, well, to a degree, it very much sounds like your typical medieval witch hunting, right? Just that in this particular case, they did have another type of magic that they could use, which was the reason for why they were cut down.
The Source Hunters sauntered away, wiping their blades with pride. 2 more sorcerers dead, a job well done.
In theory, not a job well done at all, though, right? Since they clearly didn't complete their mission. As bad as it sounds, they also should have cut down Ikara and Leandra, right? Well, obviously not should have, but from their perspective, I'm saying you should have. What became of Leandra and yourself?
From that moment on, everything was different. As we trembled in that tree, our fear and our desperation were so potent that the magic within us began to weave together. Our souls became forged together, our bond unbreakable. We would survive, thrive even, within those woods, never speaking to outsiders. Our soul forge meant that if one of us were to die, the other would instantly perish too. We kept one another close.
So they were soul forged too? Like Brachus Rex and his sister? Okay.
Leandra's capacity was enormous. Source didn't frighten her, and she delved into that dark well with terrible regularity. I did my best to guide her, but she fast outgrew my admonitions.
Well, this is quite difficult to try to come to terms with, I suppose, because it very much does seem, even though she, obviously Ikara on some level is absolutely correct here, right? Source is just a means to an end, and as always, it depends on how you use it, right? But I would say that there are certain things that tend to be abused more than others, right? So obviously I'm not saying that the solution would be to to kill everybody who's using it, but well, clearly that wasn't the most intelligent way to handle it, because that way you're kind of inviting the very people you're trying to kill to, you know, oppose you in the strongest way possible, right? So it's very much not the most intelligent way to do this or to handle it. But that being said, it's interesting in that, I don't know, let's try to draw, So bear with me here. Alcoholism, right? That is, I wouldn't say that it's a good comparison here, but in order to try to make my point, it's just that, so we have alcohol, which is a drug, right? But in most countries in the world, it is completely free to use however you like, more or less, right? Sometimes it has some restrictions on it, but for the most part, you can just go buy alcohol and drink, right? Even though we all know that, especially consuming too much of it and or doing other things like driving, obviously is bad, very bad, right? Yet that is allowed. But then there are other drugs, arguably, quote unquote, harder drugs that are forbidden, right? For very good reasons, because they also, like, that can be abused very, very easily and overall are not really good for humans, right? But very clearly, it's not as simple as saying, okay, drugs are bad, right? Because obviously a lot of humans do enjoy drugs, namely cigarettes, alcohol, all that kind of stuff. So clearly there is some sort of line that we draw that probably everybody has sort of their own opinion about. And the society as a whole then more or less has to decide, okay, where exactly do we draw that line, right? So we do allow people to smoke, but only sort of in regulated zones and not in cafes and restaurants and whatnot, right? So there are some other gray areas attached to that as well. But clearly there is a line, right? There is a line of, again, quote unquote, harder stuff. And even there is debate, right? Sometimes, or it seems like sometimes it might be better to allow at least, a very, very small consumption of hard drugs as well, just so that the people who are already addicted to them have an easier time dealing with that, right? And they can take those drugs with like supervision and whatnot, right? To make sure that they're not dying somewhere on the streets or some such thing, right? So even within those sort of boundaries, there's still a lot of, flexibility in how you really deal with it. But I would say that there is definitely a line somewhere, right? There are things that are so bad, or that even though in theory they could be used for good. And it's interesting because a lot of hard drugs are also used in medicine, right? Obviously in a lot lower doses, but clearly the substance itself isn't purely bad, right? I guess what I'm trying to say here is just that it kind of depends, okay, how likely is it that the source is used for evil, right? Where exactly is that line? Now, obviously, the way with which they dealt with these sorcerers was bad, because they didn't eradicate Source so much as made potential Source users like hate everybody else and probably push them further into actually using it for evil, right? So clearly the way they handled it wasn't really well thought out. But the fact that this source does seem to be something that can very, very easily be abused does lead me to think that overall the best course of action probably is to try to get rid of it as much as possible, or whenever possible. Not necessarily get rid of it in the sense that you need to kill the ones who are using it, but rather, maybe try to teach them not to use it, and hopefully over the course of time to find a way to maybe it'll get weaker and weaker over time, right? If nobody is teaching their children how to use it, maybe they'll forget about it or something. Well, at the end of the day, that doesn't really matter though, because clearly we have a problem with Leandra. for her own reasons, using it for evil, right? Tell me what happened between yourself, Leandra, and the wizard.
My sister and I were mired in a solitary existence, witches among the trees when Zandalore came. Leandra especially couldn't leave him be. He was a feast of information, and she wouldn't rest until she'd absorbed every bit of knowledge he offered. Their days were spent on charms, hexes, and the like. At night, Leandra would wander off to practice what she'd learned, and Zandalore and I would settle into our quiet tasks, side by side.
Quiet tasks, huh? But, well, that being said, right, this very much highlights how difficult it can be to find, but because, to go back what I just said, trying to get rid of Source by not really talking about it at all might not be the best course of action either, right? Because, I don't know, it's really, really difficult. The problem is also that from our perspective now, it very clearly seems to have been used almost exclusively for fairly evil things, right? Even though Ikara says, yeah, sure, people have been healed by it and whatnot. I don't know. It still very much seems to be a power that is primarily used for very nefarious things.
We were a content trio, the three of us, but base impulse would undo us.
Love triangle, or what's she talking about?
As you know, Leandra and I were soul-forged. This offered us a window into one another's souls. I knew Leandra had developed feelings for Zandalore, and she knew I had too.
And nobody wanted to share, I guess.
But it was me to whom he confessed his love.
Oh.
Those quiet evenings together had captured his heart, as they had mine. Her heart broke the moment we announced our new attachment, and I felt the pain of it as sharply as a knife. She fled, without a word, and I didn't see her for 2 terrible years.
I did not necessarily expect that this would all revolve back to love triangle, though. Not saying that it's, you know, bad or anything, but interesting. It's just a little bit unexpected, I suppose. Yeah, that would be strange, wouldn't it? Being soul forged and feeling that as much as the other person. Well, it's sort of strange, right? Because in a way, both were one soul, to a degree. So both loving Zandalore. It's strange because, yes, they kind of are 2 different beings, obviously, but it's almost as if Zandalore only loved half of the person he was in love with, right?
My connection to her, our soul forge, grew weaker. It was as though some third entity, a parasite, were atop our souls, sucking the strength from it day by day.
Oh, okay. So she potentially found somebody or something? Maybe tried... Oh. Did she try to somehow get rid of the soul forge? That might be what she's trying to do. Well, shit. I think I have to heal Lillian real quick. Which is... I need to get rid of this.
You and Zandalore have always been close, are you? Pray tell, did you know anything about his affair with the King Crown?
Come now. Do you really think he'd let me in on it in advance if he'd been planning an affair with your sister?
How can I tell? Maybe you taught him a thing or two about slinking around in between shadows.
Oh,
Is
she
that what
she
you
really
know?
doesn't like
He
that.
wouldn't have been murdered, resurrected, and pursued by the bringer of the apocalypse as a result, now would he?
Ha! True enough.
Yeah, I don't think that he wanted to start an affair with her. Anyway, so I need to get to the toilet real quick, so I'll be right back.
Our hero.
Or there will be no future
Alright, I'm back. Hopefully you weren't too annoyed by the ramblings of these guys. I really wish games would stop doing that, right? As much as it in theory adds to the atmosphere, I think I guess one sort of golden rule of game development should be that you never, ever, in any circumstance, repeat a line of dialogue. Ever. Unless the player is the one initiating it. Right? That should be a golden rule in game development. For some reason it's not. And I don't know why people insist on. It's not a big deal, obviously. It's a little bit charming in this game because this game overall has the feeling of, well, it is built as a classical RPG, and it very much so, you know, has a lot of more classical elements to it. Even though it's not that old, it feels like a much older game in a good way, right? But for some reason that also meant that they are used or did some things that some sort of minor bad things of old games that we've at least somewhat overcome, you know, nowadays.
Anything about his affair at the King Crab?
Well, whatever. Let's continue our conversation with Ikara.
What's the word, Source Hunter?
Okay, what's next? How do we stop Leandra?
We've a single order of business first and foremost. Leandra is gathering an army, and I fear we'll have to get through it if we wish to find her.
Well, I mean, we've already dealt with what felt like hundreds of Immaculates, so sure.
But first, we must learn more about Leandra's plans. How many of these so-called Immaculates does she have in her palm, and to what end is she directing them?
Well, that is actually quite a good question, right? Because so far, it definitely seemed somewhat akin to some sort of religious order. But I don't think it's ever been made entirely clear whether or not those people follow her because she's put some sort of spell on them, or whether or not they truly believe in whatever she's trying to accomplish, or whether or not they even know about it. But I mean, they have to know something, right? Or at least have to, whether or not what they know is true, that's another matter entirely, but they have to think something, right? There has to be a reason for why all these people seem to be following her. Now, most of them might just be out for some sort of power, or maybe they think that they'll be part of a new, quote-unquote, like, world domination government or something, right? Which very often seems to be the case, that, you know, people who do follow this sort of these sort of crazy people like Leandra, they do seem to think that for some reason they might be getting a part of, you know, whatever they're trying to do, and very rarely realize that they're just pawns in the entire thing, right? But yeah, we haven't really figured that out. I mean, the Immaculates that we've met, I think for the most part, did seem to be people that truly believed in what they were trying to accomplish. Not necessarily people that were somehow enthralled to do Leandra's bidding, right? And then obviously partly, I mean, what seemed very clear to me in terms of King Boreas's role in this is that he was just an idiot, more or less, right? He was fed up with maybe being the dumbest of the 4 seasoned lords of the Fey realm and wanted more power for himself purely for having power. It also, I don't know if they really intended that to be a thing, but the way sort of he roamed around his castle and the fact that he doesn't even really seem to be doing much. I mean, in comparison, when we met Brachus Rex, he seemed to be much more, you know, sort of aware of what he was trying to accomplish, why he came back, and what that could mean if he were to defeat us, right? Whereas King Boreas very much seemed to be kind of a mad snowman in like a funny way, right? He was literally just, oh, you know, I tried to become more powerful, but it didn't even really seem to matter too much to him, right? I think deep down he might have realized that, oh, you know, now I'm all powerful, but didn't make my life more interesting, right? He's just a king in a snowed-in castle, technically controlling the Fey realm while at the same time not really doing much with it, right? Probably too dumb to really come up with any sort of world domination plan himself. Yeah. Leandra does seem to be utilizing both people who are just sort of following her or doing her bidding because they're too dumb to realize that it probably doesn't really make much sense to follow her. But for the most part, the actual Immaculates that we've met and fought did seem to be on her side on a much more, you know, profound level, and not just enthralled into doing her bidding.
Your journey must begin in the Lacula mines, where she has been accumulating materials and manpower for a purpose as yet unknown. The way will be dangerous. Her allies are growing more powerful and numerous by the minute, but we must discover exactly what Leandra is planning and why.
Also, she seems to have a lot of different hideouts, right? So, Lacula Mines, because in theory, we've already uncovered quite a few different caves and whatnot where she has been doing stuff. Though, then again, none of those were specifically hers, right? Because the cave on the beach that we were in, that was mostly used by Evelyn and I forgot what his name was. Well, the doctor in town in Cyseal, right? Who kind of got sucked up in this entire Source business, more or less by accident or because he was a little bit too curious about it and realized too late what he was getting himself into. Well, and then the whole part in Heiberheim and the elemental forge that we've seen there seem to have existed before all this business, right? And Leandra was just using it for her own means. So I guess technically we haven't really seen any sort of actual hideout of hers, right? Or actual... We've been to places where the Immaculates were doing things, but we haven't really been to a place where they have their actual, you know, base of operations, I guess. What can you tell me about infiltrating the mines?
A soul forge comes with its own benefits, Source Hunter. Though our connection has weakened, I still see the occasional vision of Leandra's doings, the pangs of her deepest felt emotions, and flashes of her triumphs.
Which also means, in turn, that she's very much aware of the fact that Dekara has been freed. Which, I am quite concerned about what she will do with that information, right?
One vision. I had thought it was only a nightmare, but now I see it was something much worse. Leandra is collecting materials, precisely what, I cannot say, and is hard at work shaping them into something sinister.
Okay. So either those materials are just more bloodstones, or maybe there's something else she also needs?
Her frustrations are rivaled only by her mirth. I can see she's growing closer and closer to achieving something dire. You must make your way deep into the mines to see exactly what she's planning.
Does sound interesting that we're going on some sort of infiltration mission. Wonder how that's gonna go, because I don't really have a sort of thief character for infiltrating. I guess Bedota can sneak somewhat better than the others, but if we truly are on some sort of sneaking mission, I don't think that's gonna go very well. I'd rather just go in there guns blazing, because that's kind of what I've been doing up until this point. Even though, funnily enough, that's typically not really my playstyle, but I guess well, it's not my playstyle in games where I'm playing solo, right? So, at least, for example, in the Elder Scrolls series, I very much always used sneaking as quite a, well, as far as you could use it, right? Because it does have some problems in that series in terms of being viable in a lot of scenarios, but yeah. I very much hope this is simply going to be, okay, we go into the mines, we kill everybody there, and just look at what they've been doing. Well, funnily enough, right? The way she's describing it, it does seem as if it should be a very, very core sort of piece of the puzzle for Leandra. So wouldn't she try to defend that herself? But then again, that's the one thing that I've been asking myself so far with everything that we've done, is that even like, well, sometimes it seemed like Leandra didn't really care much for the fact that we were following her or thwarting her plans to some degree, because she always seemed to be at least to a degree, a step ahead of us, right? So she accomplished whatever she tried to accomplish, for example, with all that business with Evelyn and Cecile, and even though we went after her and kind of discovered what she was doing, she just vanished, right? And so up until this point, I did assume that she just didn't bother dealing with us because we didn't really stand in her way so much as just were following her in whatever she was trying to accomplish. But now, I mean, very clearly, she, well, through King Boreas, encased her sister in like permafrost ice to get rid of her without actually killing her, because that would be bad for her as well with the Soul Forge going on. Yet we did meet her when we got to the Elemental Forge, and she vanished again, right? Even though she must have known that we would probably be able to free her sister. That's been the one thing that has been a little bit puzzling to me. Like, obviously, right, obviously from a like writing perspective or gameplay perspective, they can't make us fight Leandra because she would kick our ass, right? But, you know, I do find it interesting. I can't really see her reasoning for not just straight up killing us, right? Almost as if there is some sort of higher, bigger reason for why she might not be doing that, which might be related to who we actually are, right? Because maybe if we are some sort of reincarnated god, she doesn't really want to kill us because maybe that's bad for whatever she's trying to do. It's gonna be interesting though whether or not they address that. Is there no redeeming your sister?
I believe that our soul forge has been damaged. By what? I can only guess. The fraying of the bond between us has left Leandra adrift in a well of sorrow she truly believes will never end.
Yeah, something very clearly has meddled with her as well. I think some being or probably this void dragon or whatever she's trying to bring into the world, maybe somehow was able to attach themselves to her because of her felt sorrow, right? In those 2 years where she was gone, she probably was approached by this very entity, and because she was in sort of grief at that point, she was probably a very easy target for those things, right? And now, I don't know if it's that she has just become nihilistic and wants to like kill everybody because she wasn't allowed the love she wanted to have, or wherever that's going. But very clearly, I think it's somewhat clear that some sort of entity seems to have sort of latched onto those sorrows of her, right? And through those feelings was able to potentially manipulate her soul in some form, which then disconnected her from her sister. Or maybe that very entity also recognized that they had the soul forge and tried to cut her off from her sister in order to be able to control her better.
What she needs is a hand, my hand, out of this abyss. If our soul forge is repaired, I am certain she'll cease blazing this path of destruction.
Interesting. I don't necessarily think so, but maybe. At least it's good to know that we do have a, if potentially small, chance of actually redeeming her. The Soul Forge. Wait, is that just the information that we just heard, or?
I cannot condone the terrible things she's done, but I can seek to understand them. With our Soul Forge in such tatters, I believe Leandra is adrift in the not at all inconsiderable sorrows of our lives.
Yeah, that very much seemed to be the case. What is very much interesting, right, is that so far she hasn't really exhibited any sort of evil patterns. Is the best way that I can describe it. She's definitely not your typical villain, right? Because yes, she's doing evil things, but she seemingly isn't really doing them for her own gains so much as just, a more sort of maybe nihilistic approach of, oh, she wants to see everybody dead, which might stem from her sorrows of losing the love of her life or something. I don't know. It's hard to tell, right? What if that is herself, and what if that is potentially some sort of other void entity that is trying to control her or trying to gain control over her soul?
What's more, I sense a terrible force bearing down upon the bond between us. It is hungry, and it consumes ever more of Leandra's mind and soul. I cannot say exactly what this force might be, but I'm certain it's both driving me out and driving Leandra on.
Don't know whether or not we'll actually be able to find hints as to what that might be in the mines, though. And then again, I don't really see a means to discover what that might be at all, unless we can directly talk to her about it.
If I could only repair the forge, I'm certain she'd put a stop to this madness.
Which means that ultimately we'll probably have to deal with this entity that's trying to break the bond between them. But anyways, mines first.
The way may be treacherous, but you must get inside. I fear my sister is doing something dreadful so far from the light of day.
Okay.
There is magic to this place, isn't there? No matter how forlorn it seems.
There is magic, but it is not so much forlorn as it is dormant. I trust the Source Hunters and their star stones will stir it from its slumber.
I'm confident they will. They must. The alternative is unthinkable.
That is so interesting, though. For some reason, that really isn't something that I had considered. That this is our realm. Right? Somehow I just took it as, oh yeah, sure, there's this, there's Zigzags and the Weaver of Time, and that's their realm. But they very much seem to be guests in our realm. So while dealing with all of this Leandra business, we also somehow need to find out who we were and how to potentially tap into whatever power we had at some point in time. Okay. Oof. A bunch of updates here. Eternal Winter. We learned that the staff, which contains Boreas' imprisoned seasoned siblings, can be destroyed in the Elemental Forge located on Hyberheim. If we manage to do this, the seasons will be free once more. So that's what we already did, right? Find the Witch is also done. We asked for Summer King Sua's aid in freeing Ikara. He'll gladly do so, gave his rune, King Sua used all his summer powers to melt the ice in which the White Witch was encased. Ikara is finally free. And then now we updated the main quest, which is a Source Hunter's Journey. We freed Ikara and learned the true circumstances of Counselor Jake's murder. That night, Leandra had a dalliance with her sister's lover, Zandalor. Sensing their union, Ikara went to the King Crab Inn, only to discover that Leandra had fled and Counselor Jake, her lackey, had plunged a dagger into Zandalor's heart. Ikara sacrificed the Counselor in order to save Zandalor, and the two fled. We should go to the End of Time and have a further talk with Ikara to see where our quest will lead us next. Where the fuck is Zandalor, by the way? Do we find that out? Have I completely forgotten about that? Or is he just somewhere else? We clearly weren't able to ask her about that. Or did Zandalor die again because it was only a... Why did I not... I feel like I may have overlooked something, or should know that. The day Source Hunters killed the parents of Leandra and Ikara was the day their souls were forged together. They were very close as sisters, but the introduction of Zandalor into their family tore them apart. When next Ikara saw Leandra, she had become the conduit. Right. Hadn't even considered that specific name, conduit, as if... Well, it does align with what we've just heard, where she seems to be some sort of means, or she seems to be not really controlled, but certainly used as a conduit by some sort of other being. Ikara told us we must investigate Leandra's activities and told us where to begin. Investigating the mines. Ikara has sent us to investigate the Lukula mines for evidence of her sister's doings. The Forge of Souls. This is interesting that this is all... Right. I mean, I knew that this was connected to the whole main story, but this, yeah, this does shine a new light on all of this. Theleron informed us that the Conduit's primary goal in resurrecting Brachus Rex was to learn a great secret, how to break a Forge of Souls. So she, or whoever's trying to control her, seems to be looking into a way to break the Soul Forge. But I think, in Leandra's case, it's probably more to get rid of those feelings concerning Zandalor, right? I think she very much wants to find a way to not have to feel that sorrow anymore that is being, brought down upon her by being tied to her sister and her sister receiving this love from Zandalor, whereas she does not. And we do know that Brachus did manage to break the Soul Forge to a degree, although did he really? He didn't really seem to break the Soul Forge so much as just, I guess, kind of rewrite the contract to his own, on his own terms, if you will. He turned his sister into a Lich, which, in a sort of funny way, meant that the Soul Forge wouldn't mean that Brachus Rex died, but it... I mean, it says here Brachus broke the soul forge between him and the sister, but did he really? Or was it more that he just circumvented one of its fundamental workings, I guess? Ikara asked us to look for a way to repair her soul forge with Leandra, though where exactly we might find such information remains unknown. And it's really, really cool that we're also, not only are we on this journey to investigating these mines and looking into Leandra, but at the same time, all of this soul forge business very much is also a thing that we have to look into. Honestly, it's kind of crazy to me how many quests I already did. It certainly didn't feel as if we've done this much. The one thing I wish they would have done a little different is maybe have a better way to distinguish between side quests and main quests, because there are a couple of sort of main quests, like actual main threats that are going on that we have to investigate, but then there are some things that clearly are just side quests, and sometimes it's a little bit difficult to see you know, where those are. But I think the only real side quest that I still have at this point is the Wishing Well. We know how to save William. We need to find a spell guarded by King Boreas. Have we found that, though? Man, I need to get rid of this rotting.
On the men!
Did Boreas drop anything that might help us with the well? Armor rating, dexterity, fire resistance, initiative, level 12. No movement though. This is negative movement, and this I don't know. The fucking carrot that I got from the snowman. So, let's send this over to Lillian to potentially be able to craft with it. Infected by rot. Deals 1 void damage per turn until vitality reaches 1. Oh! Wait, so you can't actually die from it? Interesting. Huh. Well, that's good then. Though I very much still want to find a way to deal with that. Is there anything else that we can do here? The Hall of Flames. How do we open up these other portals? All the other times I came back here, I was able to open up a new portal of sorts, but
If that were true, Ricardo, he wouldn't have been murdered.
this is our inner chamber, right? I mean, it's not showing any sort of quest objective. I think these were the other way around, right? That said his chest, but I think that's her chest, and this is mine. I'm pretty sure. Bunch of stuff that I put in here. Wait, how do I put stuff in? I think I can just do that from my inventory, right? If I remember correctly. Problem is, there are definitely a couple of things where I'm not entirely sure if I still need them or not. Enlightened Amulet. I have 2 of these, right? Send to Homestead. Don't think I need this one either. But yeah, I don't necessarily think that we can do anything else here currently. So now the big question becomes, do I want to go back to Heiberheim to potentially try to solve that puzzle with the well? I could also still look into other things that are going on in Heiberheim, right? Take another look at King Boreas' castle and whatnot to potentially see what lies beyond it, if we can. Aside from that, yeah, I probably want to go back to Silver Glen, and I suppose the mine's probably going to be somewhere there. Don't think there really is a reason to go back to Seal at this point, beyond selling stuff. Lukula Forest. Right. That is in Lukula Forest, so the mine has to be somewhat close by, right? Probably Silver Glen's mine would be Lukula's mine, more or less. But yeah, let's take another quick peek at Heiberheim. I just want to know... Well, the thing with the wishing well is also quite strange. I feel like I might have overlooked something in that regard. Also in general... By the way, why is my chance to resist knockdown 0%? Am I really that bad at resisting that? Isn't that a Constitution saving throw? Wait, is it? Speed, perception... Proofs scoundrel influence the defense rate. Blocking. Yeah, I don't actually know what exactly governs that. Because for enemies, I think it would be a Constitution saving throw if you're trying to knock them down, right? But I feel like I should potentially have... Oh, hey, I can pick this up now. Last time this was bugged below the stairs? Interesting. It's a two-handed staff though, right? Leader's exceptional fire staff of wrecking. Two-handed, yeah. I'm not using two-handed staff, sadly. It's still quite interesting to me that there is no actual, or seemingly is no actual connection between the prison and the castle itself. Not that there necessarily has to be, but I'm just curious. This is more of a, I guess, level design / game design question rather than, you know, because in-game, well, that's kind of fine, but it seemed to me as if these waypoints, I don't know how much they're supposed to be actually part of sort of the game world, or if they're purely there for the player's convenience. Because how would they get to the prison, right? Shouldn't there be a physical connection between the castle and the prison? It's just curious to me that they haven't even really seemingly... They could have literally just put a, I don't know, a caved-in connection here. Something that that clearly is, you know, not traversable by the player, and would purely be there to make the level seem more real, right? It's just interesting to me that they've omitted that. And in a weird way, I like it, right? Even though it's, in theory, maybe less immersive or something. It very much is interesting in the sense that a lot of the maps in this game, they're kind of built as if they are some sort of tabletop RPG, right? If you look at this map, the way it's laid out, the fact that, you know, it doesn't make physical sense in a lot of cases, but rather just puts everything on the same map. This very much seems to be as if somebody placed down a map on a table in front of people and said, hey, this is the realm or the thing we're playing in tonight, right? Like, I don't know, it's just such a curious design decision to me. Okay, so this leads outside again, but it's very much still closed. Curious indeed.
Cursed frost!
Intruders wide.
I still have no freaking clue how to handle these sentinels. I mean, there's only one here, but there seems to be another trap up here. Potentially more sentinels. Because I might be able to... What the hell is happening to the camera? I might be able to teleport one of my party over. Potentially activate the switch over here, right? Which would let everybody get here. Let's maybe try that. Let's see, teleportation. Oh, I should, before I do that, let's disconnect Medora from the party. Teleportation. Where is she even? Why does the person who I'm trying to do something with always have to stand, like, within another character? Okay. I think I selected the right person.
What do you think you're doing?
Yeah, I know. Oh, right, she's... I've usually used Lillian for that, right? Because Medora, I think she loses, like, standing with my characters if I damage her. Yeah. I forgot about that. Oh, well. Maybe I should teleport Lillian over as well. As I suspected. Aha! That one sentinel killed the other one. I really... Okay, that one I can destroy. I still don't really understand what's happening here. So either these invulnerable sentinels still have some sort of trigger somewhere for me to be able to disable them, or maybe I am really supposed to just... It's just weird to me that some of them seem to be cracked while others are still invulnerable. Almost as if some sort of entity or force is controlling them, right? I should have saved. Shit. Now I have to teleport her back. I hate that this causes damage to allies as well. I think there should be a way to not do that, but whatever.
At Academy North, we have a saying. Shoot me once, shame on you. Shoot me twice, shame on. Shame. Can't shoot me again.
Are you kidding me?
This is it, comrade.
Yeah. Fuck that. I'm not doing that. That's so dumb. Oh, shit. Well. Great. I should have saved. Why didn't I save? I'm an idiot. Why didn't it autosave? Yeah, sorry, I'm not doing that. That's really dumb. I mean, I haven't really done much else, so... I don't think that should be a thing, to be completely honest. I know, you know, maybe somebody might consider the save scumming. I don't, because that's just really... You shouldn't lose like, standing with your party doing that. Because the dumb thing about it is that I would be able to do the exact same thing with my other main character without losing any standing or something, right? Ah, well, whatever. Let's just... I didn't really do much else than going through dialogue here, right? So let's do that real quick and then...
Good to see you on the shelter plane.
update you on my progress.
Good to see
Yeah,
you on
yeah.
the shelter plane.
Do they have to sit so close to each
How
other?
might I serve our mission?
Yeah, I've met
Leandra, though they
Leandra.
be baptized in blood, you can cleanse.
How can I help you, my friend?
Learned about the relationship.
Yes, that was a...
And let's talk to
I
Ikara.
see Master Zigzags as ha. Well, I must say, I believe ours would still. Their meekness wouldn't save. I am. But what so many tell me, Source Hunter. Did you
yeah,
ever know?
right.
I doubt. No. They came, we climbed. The Source Hunters, from that moment, we would... Leandra's capacity... My sister and Leandra, their day, we were as you know, but it with her heart, my
This does
connection
seem,
to her. Our
how do we stop Leandra?
Your journey must be a soul. One her frustrations arrival. I believe what she... I cannot... What's more... If I could only... The way...
Okay. Let's double check that I got the correct lock entries. Yeah.
What it is, what lies at the heart.
Eternal Winter, find the witch. Soul Hunter's journey has been updated. Alright. Now let me save real quick to, you know, not have that happen again. I mean, it was on me for trying to... I shouldn't have teleported Medora. I should have just teleported, what's her name? Lillian. But... Well, honestly, I also didn't think that it would be this quick for her to... Like, that must have cost a lot of standing, I feel like. Oh, well. Anyways, it is what it is. It's, it certainly is a little bit of a weird mechanic. Because there's no real... Is there... Well... Okay, so you can hit your allies with things as well in battle, but haven't I fairly frequently done that? I think the reason why it might not have counted in that sense is because if you use like environmental things, like burning the ground, for example, and then it also burns one of your party members, I don't think it counts as actually hurting them, like actively hurting them, right? Whereas if you purposefully use a damaging spell or, you know, shoot an arrow or whatever on like one of your party members, then you lose standing. I don't know, the teleportation spell, I mean, in a weird way, I do like that it always deals damage because it teleports you not exactly to the ground, right? It's like, at least according to the animation of the spell, it seems like you're teleporting people sort of slightly in the air and then they, you know, fall down and that's why they take damage. So logically speaking, there is no real way to prevent that from happening completely, right? But yeah, it's all of that is certainly a little bit strange. Anyways, let's get back to where I was. Let's get back to Heiberheim Castle entrance. See if I can still pick up that staff that I missed. Also, need to remember not to be knocked down this time. The thing that I definitely find quite strange about these sentinels is that they don't really... I don't know, it feels a little bit as if they're missing maybe like a hint as to what you're supposed to do there? I don't know. Because assuming, you know, I mean, assuming King Boreas might have controlled everything here, wouldn't you think that once we got rid of him, everything's just gone now? The somewhat frustrating thing about the Sentinels there is that... Oh, oops. Wrong button. Yeah, the somewhat frustrating thing there is that... I guess in theory I could place barrels on those traps, right? Or some sort of other item. But
it's so cold here.
Intruders by.
It would be really, really annoying to have to go out and find barrels and then bring them all the way over here. So I don't think that can really be the only solution to this. I don't think something like... Avatar of Fire makes a target immune to burning. Well, first of all, this doesn't necessarily last very long, but second of all, I don't think this would actually make me immune to this lava. I mean, I can try. I don't like trying it and then reloading, but at the same time, it's one of those weird things where it should work in theory, right? I mean, this literally says makes you immune to burning, and clearly that's lava on the ground. But having interacted with that lava in the past, I do know that it's, I think something else than flames, right? So it's like another instance of flames that's a lot more deadly. It's considered like a permanent, how can I put it? Like a death zone, in a way, right? So it's... I don't know whether whether it would be considered... Okay, wait, before I do that. This time I'm going to do this with Lillian. Let's cast Avatar Fire on her. I hate that it takes so long to... Yeah, see? Still kills her. I didn't save, did I? Yeah, I didn't. Shit. Why did I forget to save? Ah well, let's just load this one. I literally just said, let's just try it, but still forgot to actually... Okay, once again. Sorry about this, but... I don't know.
If you know all that is
I mean,
past and present, does that mean you
I knew that there was like a 95% chance that she would die from that.
I can predict,
But at the same time,
but I cannot speak of what is to come.
I don't know. Yeah, I just wish there was a way to properly tell you that.
Course before reaching reality.
Like, I don't think that it should... I don't know. I feel like it should tell you that somehow. So, for example, the burning thing should have something in brackets or whatnot telling you, hey, by the way, this does not count for lava. I don't know. Something about that... It's one of these weird edge cases where I think, you know, to a degree, they've properly designed it because it is somewhat obvious to tell that this lava clearly is something else compared to your usual burning surface. That being said, I still think that it should somehow be a little bit clearer in what it actually does. I don't know. Well, I guess my main sort of frustration with it is just that, you know, all things considered, you do feel quite powerful. And you have all these spells at your disposal that mean that you can deal with the different elements, right? Yet somehow, a weird statue is blocking your path with a pool of lava. A pool of lava that, by the way, as I said last time, I could literally place a wooden barrel on the trap to make it go away. Yet casting really, really powerful magic on it does not help, right? So it's... yeah, it's somewhat frustrating, in my opinion, to have to deal with this. But yeah, I don't think that I can get rid of it, right? Yeah. Why does it count as invulnerable, though? That is so strange. Is it suggesting it even looks like there is somehow still a certain magic on them? But clearly a magic that should be able to be dispelled in some way. I don't know, it just, to a degree, it makes me feel really dumb because I feel like I'm overlooking something really, really obvious, maybe. Oh, wait, whoops. I wanted to do a quick save. Wrong menu option. I mean, I can take another look at this. Waypoint Shrine, Halberheim Cave. But I mean, why would anything have changed over here, huh? Still has the same barrier. The thing is, though, I think the Wishing Wells had the same sort of issue. 1 second. Alright. Is this where the wishing well was? Or is this... Where was the wishing well? I think it was here, right? Frozen forest, lava pits. Let's go to the lava pits. Honestly, also feels somewhat strange to be able to just walk through this entire plane uninterrupted in a way, right? Completely free of any disturbances or enemies. Ah, for fuck's sake, I didn't see them. Why does this ice still stay around, though? I guess I could cast fire on it, get rid of it, but... oh well. Then again, wouldn't you think that us getting rid of Boreas might have also caused the snowstorm to subside somewhat? That's also not really happening, right? So, I want to talk to you. Where are... Can I, like, talk to them? Wait, what? Why was... What? Why did everybody else suddenly run... Oh, well, whatever. Yeah, so last time I was here trying to deal with whatever's happening here at the well, I also wasn't really able to do so. But as you can see, wait, I dealt with this initial... Is this still lava? Now I'm paranoid again. No. For some reason it looks like it, but it's not counting it. But yeah, so we placed some barrels there.
Well, Wanderer, this well is still stuck here, willing to weep at any wee thing. Oh, will I ever see Warrior again?
Do remember talking to this well. I don't remember though if we... Is there anything I can do to help?
Scroll, Wanderer, the scroll! With Boreas' scroll, it'll be hello Wally for old Willie.
Is he talking about the scroll that we used? Oh. Oh, wait a second. We used the scroll to get through the initial barrier to kill Boreas. Wait, so we can still use that same scroll to get through other... Okay. That's interesting. Sometimes I forget about these force field bypass spell. So that would allow us to get through the other force field as well, in theory, right? Force fields. Really? Wait. Huh? Okay, then. So I guess I wouldn't be able to actually, I don't remember that happening. I guess I wouldn't actually be able to place a barrel on that. Why did I, though? I mean, I placed a barrel there, right? Oh, I didn't press the analog stick all the way. Yeah, there is a barrel on that trap. I thought I disabled it by doing that. I guess I must have forgotten that there has to be an easier way to deal with these sentinels, seriously. Well, I wasn't able to go through here anyways, right? Because it was locked. Well, never mind then. Let's go back to the castle entrance and try to get rid of the other force field. Maybe that'll get us to a scroll of some sort, or maybe some other means to control more things here. I do find these sentinels to be quite weird, to be completely honest. There's just this... They seem to be way too simple to, you know, actually warrant a very intricate or complicated way of getting rid of them. But this... Well, the problem is I can't... I'm not able to actually interact with this force field, though. So clearly that's not the solution. But I'm pretty sure that I didn't get another scroll. Right? Pretty sure Boreas didn't drop anything else. The scroll. Or is he talking about this? But wouldn't it also show us a different... Because... I mean, there isn't really a way for us to use a scroll on the well, correct? So the only way to really do something with the well or use a scroll that we potentially found on Boreas on the well, you know, that option would pop up within the dialogue menu, right? I'm confused by this. I feel like I'm overlooking a potentially very simple solution to a lot of this, but... Elemental Forge. As if there would be a way... I feel like there would be a way to... Like some sort of... item that we could get or something that would allow us to deal with these sentinels in a you know, better way. I mean, I don't want to spend, you know, billion years looking for stuff in here. I'd much rather continue with the story and whatnot, but I mean, something about it just makes you feel as if I should be able to solve this by now. Really. Of course I ran through that one tiny oil speck on the ground. Yeah, I was already here, wasn't I? Pretty sure. Don't fully remember what I did here, but I was definitely here. Oh, right. This is where we walked initially. This is the person we helped. Oh, wait, did I ever open this? No, I didn't. This is the person we helped what, did we really help them? Rather, I think this is the person that was helping us in a way get over here to the Fey realm. God, the animation on some spells is crazy long, a bit too long for my taste. I feel like if you're using spells outside of combat, amulet, shiny golden dagger. Can be used for backstabbing? Oh, that's possible to be done with all daggers though, I suppose. Anything interesting? %25% chance to set shield status for 2 turns. Oh, well, that's not bad. +1 strength. Unlocks skill earth absorption shield. Not super good. Well, do I want to try talking to the web again, potentially? This is so strange. Let me look at my log one more time. The Wishing Brother. He told us we won't be able to save him until we found another way into Hyberheim, part of the Realm of Fairy. We know how to save William. We need to find a spell guarded by King Boreas. Okay, so the weird thing here is, right? The way this is worded makes me think that whatever's behind the castle, or potentially guarded by those sentinels that are still there, and that's where we might find the solution to this quest specifically. But you know, sort of unrelated to this seems to be the question of how do we get past the sentinels, or what could we do in order to deal with them. It's so strange though, because the way to deal with the sentinels can't be super complicated, can it? Because there would have to be a way for you to always deal with them, right? So in my mind at least, unless they, I mean, I'm not entirely sure with this game, right? Because it might very well be that they said, okay, certain things are only possible to do with certain party members or certain spells and whatnot, which I actually kind of would appreciate. The problem is if you don't really know whether or not that's a thing, right? So if there had been other examples of this where I wasn't able to get past something, and it very much seemed like I maybe needed some sort of other way to deal with it, right? Then I would go, all right, clearly this game does contain certain things that are only able to be done by a certain, you know, class or whatever. But that hasn't really been a thing up until this point. So I don't think it really is for the game, right? So it very much feels like you would be, in theory, you would be able to solve everything, no matter who you have with you. So the solution can't be like a random spell or ability that you have. I don't think, at least. I feel like I might be missing some sort of quest item or some sort of other item that allows you to just disable these sentinels potentially. Yeah, I don't think I will find it in the tutorial though. Highlighted trap, press square and select disarm trap. But yeah, I can't disarm a trap that I can't get to, right? It's also so strange that they specifically tell you about fire surfaces here, but these lava surfaces seem to be something else. Which is strange considering that the same does not seem to exist for other elements, right? So at least I haven't found any sort of stronger or more permanent poison puddles or ice or something, right? The rest of the elements very much seem to just be the same ones that you'll encounter in combat too. But we dealt with Boreas. I really don't see how that wouldn't get us access to all of his secrets. But the thing is, you can't even interact with the magic barrier. So it clearly seems to be some... And then the even stranger thing is that had I followed the advice of the rabbit and actually somehow gotten across these things, I would already have access to this side of things, right? Though that being said, I saw that there is a bunch more lava over here too, so there would still have to be a way to get rid of that as well. Maybe I just haven't tried a certain thing. Maybe there is a way to get rid of the lava. Problem is also that all the rabbits are running away from me, so I can't even ask them for a solution. Yeah. Wait, how do I stop? Oh.
I know imps aren't anyone's favourites, but boy does the woman in red have it out for him.
Okay, so that is strange though, right? You can kind of talk to them, but also kind of don't.
Careful of those great big crystals. Heiberheim's most dangerous criminals are kept there.
Now
They say there's no way in or out of Boreas' prison, but I know the East Wind personally, and she said she's blown straight through a hidden tunnel leading directly in.
That's another thing though, right? That confuses me somewhat, is because you get very, very obvious and clear hints as to how to get into the prison and the castle itself. Those things are solved. Why is all of this floating? Yeah, those other things are solved fairly easily, and also the solution to that stuff is, as I said, somewhat obvious, right? I mean, you simply go in and you acquire the scroll, and that just allows you to get past the force field, and that's it.
Well, Wanderer, this well is still
anything?
the scroll, Wanderer, the scroll. With Boreas' scroll, it'll be hello Wally for old Willie.
Yeah, but where is that scroll? Can you grant me a wish?
Oh, woe is the wish granter, whisked so far from where he lay. I won't be able to manage my... What say I will some of this dreadful weather away. I think I can still manage that.
Oh, wait, what?
For 2,050 gold, you, Wanderer, can wish which weather I switch. Perhaps I could wind down this wild blizzard, or whack out the lava-burbling volcanoes to the north. What do you say?
Huh. Wait, I somehow overlooked this earlier, I guess. How did I never come across this option earlier? Because this might have even helped significantly with traversing all of this. Interesting. I can spare gold for such a wish. I mean, I can. Let's see. I'll sooner pay for that wish than a well would survive being torn apart. What will Wally say when he hears you'd want gold from a weary wanderer for one wee wish? By helping me navigate this wild place, you'll make it all the easier for me to help you return to Sicil. Yeah, that seems to be an actually reasonable suggestion. Never mind. This is gonna take a while. Of course. Well, that's awkward. Oh no, never mind. I thought I had found some way to deal with the RNG, but thankfully I haven't. Wait, what he just used? Paper, right? Shit. Well, I guess I'll have to pay the money.
Rules are rules, Wanderer, regardless of why I might want to wish to be wished. No, 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 I won't be moved.
Okay, the thing is though, turning off the volcanoes to the north, I'm really uncertain as to whether or not that actually helps us with the lava sentinel things.
Well, Wanderer, this well is still stuck here, willing to weep at
Yeah, because you're not helping.
Oh, will I ever see...
Of course, the Winter Realm. Yeah, I know. Can you grant me a wish?
I won't be able to manage much. What say I will? Some of this dreadful weather.
Yeah,
oh,
sure.
What a wonder to enjoy the tinkle of gold inside me. So, Wanderer, what will it be? Shall I tame the blizzard or the volcanoes? It's time to wish your wish.
Let's stop the volcanoes. I don't think this is going to help with the sentinels, but we might as well try, right?
We must stop those volcanoes. Somebody could get seriously hurt.
You're right. Lava hurts.
Right.
It does indeed.
Lava hurts.
We'll watch the volcanic waves wither into ash, will we? Wonderful! 1, 2, 3, and the volcanoes are tamed!
How did he come up with 2,050 gold, by the way? Why is it not just 2,000? What a strange number. Okay, volcano's gone, I suppose. Well, does that now mean that the lava puddles the sentinels can produce are also gone, or... I hate that you can accidentally stand in those. I'm gonna die, ain't I? Also forgot that he keeps turning. Okay, yeah. So as I thought, it didn't actually disable the traps. Guess that's too easy of a solution, but I don't understand. These can't be entirely invulnerable, right? There has to be a way to get rid of that galvanized status, I feel like. Can I actually blind them?
How could that happen?
Or it seems like they can't even be affected by status effects or something, right? Which is, in general... Ooh, almost ran into the lava. In general, quite weird how they're presenting that. Because it simply says galvanized. Character has been galvanized. But the resistances shown don't really reflect that status effect, do they? Stand. Character has been galvanized. But the thing is, there simply doesn't seem to be a way to get around that. I mean, there is nothing that told us about, oh, you know, do this against sentinels or something.
This well is still stuck here, willing to weep. Why the scroll, wanderer?
Yeah, but where is it? Okay. Let's... lava pits. Maybe I should have gotten rid of the snowstorm, all things considered. I mean, at least it's less annoying going here now. Are you kidding me? Did I really? Oh well. Because this isn't really even helping in any sort of capacity. Okay, these are non-interactable objects, it seems. Why is the analog stick being so finicky all of a sudden? But I mean, I would have seen if I had, like, overlooked something, right? If there would have been another item to pick up, it would literally show up on screen. It's not that I can actually overlook anything. Oh, wait, you were still here? I thought you would have been gone by now.
All is well then, Source Hunter. How pleased I am to have been of service to you. Good luck in your many endeavors, and remember, you'll always find welcome in the Summer Kingdom.
Oh, now he's gone. And I can seemingly still combine things with the Elemental Forge. It's strange. I don't know. But the weirdest part is, if I would now just change course and continue with what I'm kind of supposed to be doing, oh, for fuck's sake. Meaning I would continue with the main story and whatnot, right? I didn't press the... What is going on with my... Is it my analog stick that's fucking up? Or is it the game that has a weird dead zone? Because it's quite... Somehow it doesn't allow me to just walk sometimes. Malfunctioning sentinel. Let's see, can I destroy this guy? Seemingly so. telling me this is literally nothing? Huh? It sort of dropped through the ground, but I think the game still considers it to be here. That's strange. And what makes me even more confused about all of this is that the wishing well literally just says the scroll. Like, he makes it sound really, really obvious that, oh, hey, by the way, scroll, blah, blah, blah. Wait, pretty sure I already talked to you, right?
If there is anything I can do to help you slay all Immaculates, pray state it.
Well, I do know how to get into the castle.
The only way to get in that I know of is through the front gate. But it's unlikely you'll find it open. The Immaculates and Boreas have formed an alliance, though. Maybe they've been given a key. I thought it was naught but a pretty jewel, said to have fallen to its
Definitely already talked to him.
It teemed with energy, so I have. Luckily, they seemed to be as bent on one, and it's all King Boreas is doing. It must be. He is the one who unleashed this.
Yeah, we definitely already talked to him. And then I'm pretty sure I also read this. The maintenance tunnel leading to the prison has been rigged with deadly explosives, several sentinels. The sentinels within the prison itself make it impossible for a prisoner to escape the cell block. Their state-of-the-art alternate activation system saves energy while still providing almost full coverage of the restricted area. Yeah, see, I mean, that's a very clear hint to, oh, hey, by the way, you can slip by them unnoticed because it's almost full coverage, not actually full coverage. Which seems to suggest that you're not supposed to actually destroy them, but rather just simply walk past them, if you can. But clearly that's not the solution for all of them. I mean, sometimes the lava pits are even there without having activated the sentinels actively, right?
Reach this evil from my blood.
But I've also already been everywhere. I mean, where else is there to go? Or what else is there to find or activate? I've dealt with King Boreas. Getting into the front entrance wasn't really all that difficult. But then taking these barrels with me, for example, wouldn't help, right? Because clearly the barrels aren't the solution. Because the lava will simply ignore them, or rather destroy them. But there literally is nothing else to interact with here. Oh, did I forget to pick this up? I guess I did. I mean, at this point, honestly, I think I will probably just continue on. Although, let's see. Blitzbolt? What the f... Yeah, that... What is happening? Huh. Thought that maybe I could, like, control those elements by maybe doing that, but... Because it looks like this would be some sort of other object besides the sentinels that might be controlling these elements, but yeah, it doesn't look like it. I think that's just background, honestly. Yeah. Very much just looks to be background to the level. I mean, maybe there's something hidden here and my perception just isn't high enough to discover it or something. That could very well be the case, but... I guess my main question at this point is the scroll the Weld's talking about. Is that hidden back here? Is this some sort of treasure room that is only accessible if you solve these sentinel riddles, or is this something else entirely? And another thing that is very confusing to me is, as I said, had we actually followed the advice of the rabbit and gone over these and tried to go into the side entrance by going over these chasms here, wouldn't we have ended up having to deal with these sentinels as well? Which does seem to suggest that there is a way to deal with them without having to defeat King Boreas first, right? Which in general seems to be a thing, you know, that at least partially makes sense because, well, the place where the well is hidden also has, like, it's literally just a chest that's standing there, right? But it's inaccessible because of those sentinels. Though at least in that case, I think the sentinels only activate stuff if they spy you, right? Whereas for some reason here, this lava pit seems to be always active. If I could approach them, that would allow me to disarm them, correct? But... well, I don't really understand why this is active to begin with, right? This might be a might be a bug of sorts. I'm wondering if I made Lillian, let's see. So she in theory has a disarm kit, right? Yes. Can I make her invisible? Okay. First of all, let's save before I forget that again. Cast skill invisibility. Oh, that makes me invisible. That's not targetable. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. Okay, let's get her back then. Okay, wait. So let's... I don't know. Do I need stats for this to work though? Trap disarm toolkit. Send this over to my main character. Why is the lava now active?
Better chill!
Okay. So in theory, it shouldn't be able to detect me if I'm invisible, correct? Really? Damn it. Yeah, I think I was just a bit too slow because I forgot to... I essentially have to click on the... what's it called? I have to click on that right away. Also, in general, probably want to get as close as possible. I really dislike that a lot of things are only active for a very, very short time. Alright, well, at least that worked. The problem is I only have one trap disarm toolkit left. Okay, let's see. That is still here, though. But that's not being activated by the Sentinel itself, correct? So... Wait, can they be... Let's see, let's change to Medora. Attack. No. They're completely invulnerable. Okay, so in theory, that other lava pool, though, is not controlled by this Sentinel, right? So if I brought a barrel, I could get rid of it, correct? Okay, bear with me. This is gonna take a while. But this... Like, surely this can't be the actual solution to this. Honestly, I refuse to believe that they would force you to bring over a barrel from, like, 1 billion miles away just to get past that Sentinel. And then it doesn't even really help with the ones that follow after it. Though at least the trick with the invisibility works for this one. Let's see. Who can... I think I want to do this with Medora, right? Let's see. I think she can move stuff the furthest. Yes. It feels dumb, honestly. I'm sorry, but...
I'd trade my gauntlets for a hot drink.
Also, in general, I feel like instead of wooden barrels... I mean, it makes sense that obviously a lot of wooden barrels would exist within the world, right? Obviously, that's a much more common object than something heavy made out of metal or something. But at the same time, I think... Well, considering these weird puzzles... Might have made more sense from time to time to have other objects where it makes more sense with how they interact with fire. At least it's actually not too complicated to bring this thing over here, but... Wait, how much do they weigh? Can you actually just pick up barrels and put them in your... Wait a second. Okay. Well, hopefully I can actually place it back down, though.
Cursed frost.
Intruder's mind.
Yeah, that makes things easier. Drop item. Okay, cool. Move. What? Oh. What? Oh, was there water in the barrel? Well, that's another problem, right? With the barrels being, well, not really one-time use, but there is a limited amount of barrels in the world as well, right? The game doesn't spawn in other barrels. So what if you destroy all of them? Do you just, like, permanently lock yourself out of certain routes that are only accessible via placing barrels on top of traps and whatnot? Well, at least now I know that you can pick them up. I don't know why I never tried that to begin with. Does make things a lot easier, obviously, but... Okay, maybe let's save before using this one. I'm slightly confused because... Well, I guess I must have placed it very slightly off-center of the trap. Because otherwise, shouldn't I have been able to... disable that? Like... Because I was able to do so at other points in time. Great. Love how I now frosted this entire place over. Okay. Let's quick save again. That's also the main part of, like... This stuff seems to be somewhat finicky, so having to quick save the entire time... I don't know, also not the greatest way of dealing with this. I mean, it shows the trap as being yellow, right? So shouldn't it count as being placed on top of it? Nope. Just burns up and gets destroyed. I don't know. This almost feels like it's a bug, though, right? I mean, why is this trap still here exactly? Because if the barrels don't work with disabling it, then how else am I supposed to disable it? I can't approach it. Unless... But this... I mean, there's this rubble here, right? Yeah, that still counts as being... Well, at least now I still have the barrel in my inventory, I guess. But I mean, you can't disarm the trap without being close to it, right? You have to stand next to it. If I press this arm... Well, first of all, I'm gonna... Oh boy. But I'm just going to die, right? Because I can't disarm it. Wait, the... Yeah, this doesn't work. Unless there's like a... Is there like a trap disarm spell that you can learn that allows you to disarm it at a distance? Ah, for fuck's sake. If Lillian had a teleportation spell, at least I would be able to get my main character over, and then I could make myself invisible and potentially deal with the next trap. That is a way to deal with this, but the problem is this permanent lava is still here. And the strangest part about it is that it's not even connected to the Sentinel. So you'd have to have a way to somehow get across it every time with your entire party to even be able to use the side entrance for the quest, right? For the quest that the rabbit gives you, essentially. This is so confusing. I don't understand what they want you to do here. Unless I am actively missing some sort of ability that I should have at this point, or some sort of other way of getting past this. I don't understand. I can't rain this away either, right?
7 to run this land. My kingdom for a dry shirt.
Nope. It does not work. Okay, so... I want to buy more trap disarm toolkits. I do still have one teleportation scroll. So depending on whatever happens over here, maybe by having more trap disarm toolkits, I could be able to actually get past this. I don't know if anybody sells them though. Don't know if I've ever actively looked for, because I feel like if I would have been able to buy trap disarm toolkits, I might have done so, considering how much money I have. Fairly certain that wasn't necessarily something that I was able to buy. But this is all... The worst thing about all of it is just how stupid it makes you feel, right? It really, really makes you feel as if you're just too dumb to solve a really simple puzzle. I don't think so. Wait, do I know how to potentially craft? Ah, yeah, let's just buy these real quick. Would I know how to potentially craft trap disarm toolkits?
Quiet day on the market, it seems. Quiet day on the market, it seems.
Bone dust. And I haven't read about how to craft a trap disarm toolkit either. I mean, same issue, right? What would be the way to craft a trap disarm toolkit? I'm fairly certain that there should be a way to craft one. I mean, it would honestly be weird if you couldn't.
Quiet day on the market, it seems.
Watch the undead quiver in their mouldy boots.
Oh, wait, what? Have I never crafted those? I mean, I have, like, iron and steel bars, right? And considering the, like, the item, what's it called?
Quiet day on the market, it seems.
The way the trap disarm toolkit looks in the inventory.
No better solution to the zombie problem than a
You'd think that... I don't know. Yeah, that's the issue. It's clearly made out of metal. It's just a pair of, like, what are they called? Tweezers?
Toe of snake, wing of worm, brew and spice 'em, stir and churn.
Also, oh, this is... There's nobody here who would sell something like that, and I don't think I've even really met anybody else who would. Oh, this really is frustrating at this point, not gonna lie. Because I know that I'm repeating myself here, but it just feels like I'm missing something that either was already told to me or that is fairly obvious, and somehow I'm just not able to see what I would have to do in order to make this work. But I also don't understand. I feel like maybe I didn't. No, I'm fairly certain that I did disable one of those lava traps when I was at that hut here in Sicil. That also had a bunch of traps around.
Into the fray once more.
I feel like there was a lava trap that I did disable with a barrel.
Sheep's cheese, tomatoes.
It's even more frustrating considering that now I was actually able to disarm one of the traps by turning invisible. Going up to it, disarming it. But the other trap doesn't seem to be connected to any sentinel. It's just lava. And I would be able to teleport myself past it, but then what? I mean, I can wait until I have more teleportation scrolls. Sorry. Or something like that. This is all I've spent my time with. I mean, I guess it's my own fault for, you know, insisting on solving whatever I'm supposed to do there, but
Chakras are in desperate need of a good scrubbing.
at least spores. Launch multiple poisonous spores that do them. Okay.
Or if you're in the mood for something
Less
a bit
allies
more
around you. Less improves your chance to hit
one
by
of my
30.
inner scrolls might give your
What
system
the
just
fuck
the
is she
shock it
talking
needs.
about? Holy fuck, that was a long dialogue. She sells them! Wait, what? Why? Okay. That is strange, but alright. Advice, invisibility, wind of change, shocking, teleportation. Well, the problem is that would Lillian be able to just learn that? I don't think so. I mean, eventually it might be worth it to... Yeah. It might actually be worth it to level that for her, just to have access to teleportation twice. But again, that can't honestly be the solution to this, can it? I don't think so. That would be so strange if you were forced to learn teleportation on two characters, or alternatively learn other things that work similar to teleportation on two characters in order to be able to get past these things.
Fortunately for you, my homebrewed tinctures will do the job. Or if you're in the mood for something a bit more electrifying, one of my inner scrolls might give your system just the shock it needs.
Well, the other thing is, I have access to better fire spells because I activated the fire portal in that realm at the end of time. Maybe there is either a water or lightning spell or whatever to actually disable
returns.
traps at a distance.
I hope you are here to shop rather than sleuth.
It is so strange, though, that it seems like you can't do anything to those sentinels. I don't understand. they can't just put something into the game that is completely invincible. Right? I mean, sure, they are usually connected to some sort of puzzle, but that still seems somewhat dumb. Anyway, so thankfully I do have one teleportation scroll. So let's at least try. Let's see, did I actually buy the trap disarm toolkits, or... I think Lillian did, didn't she? Wait. Ah, there they are. Don't entirely know why it didn't stack all of them. Oh, this is for repairs. I should probably take a look at that, by the way. Just to not suddenly have equipment that's destroyed. Seems to be like most things are still in shape, though. All right. This is so strange. This is so strange. And honestly, at the end of the day, the weirdest part about all of it is that by doing these weird things that I'm now doing, I am actually able to get past them. Right? Which in a weird way makes you think, oh, maybe this is how you're supposed to deal with them. Even though it's very, very strange in terms of how it works. Okay, yeah. Not forgetting quick save this time, because if this doesn't work, I probably want to keep the teleportation scroll. Let's send myself over there. Hey, yeah, it's also kind of dumb, as I said, that you're not able to do this with other party members because they then don't like you anymore. But you are able to do it with the main cast, which... again, seems to suggest that this isn't necessarily how it's supposed to be done, right? Okay, well, that's cracked, so I can destroy that one. Let's see. Why is it not burning? Oh, probably because it's so cold out here. Invalid target. What? Huh? Wait, so you're not supposed to be able to attack it? Wait, let me double check. No, I can't. Yeah. Strange. See, so that got rid of all the other stuff. For all the traps over here as well. Oh, wait a second. No, that is still there. What? Well, now I am wondering whether or not that might be a bug. Maybe maybe if the lava puddle is still active while you're Oh man, how many of these things are here? Yeah, maybe if the lava puddles... Oh, metal crate. Oh, this might be able to deal with the still active lava puddle, huh? Okay, but as I said, maybe I got rid of the cracked sentinel that was destroying the lava puddle, and by doing that, I accidentally made it so that it's permanent. No. Should be able to just do this. Oh. Huh? Huh? Okay. Well, that's kind of funny. Wait, let's go invisible again. Oh, wait, does that spawn in new metal crates? Well, at least if these guys are only teleporting you, that's not such a big deal. See, the thing is, all of what I'm currently doing is only possible because I still had the frickin' teleportation scroll. I mean, I guess you can always leave these things be and just return whenever you get something else that might allow you to deal with this, but it's still strange, isn't it? Okay. Well, again, the funny thing here also is that this clearly seems to be designed for when you're coming this way. Whereas now, obviously, this kind of helped me because I came the other way. And this is where it could have ended up. I don't know, there's so much strange about this. Okay. Well, at least now I've opened this up. Don't entirely understand what the lever is there for, but that metal crate I could potentially use to get rid of the lava puddle there, or the lava puddle that I'm now still missing. The problem being... I don't think I would actually be able to take it with me, though.
Intruder spied. Intruder spied.
Okay. Oh, what the fuck? Why is there one of these weird hand teleporters here? Well, he's saying intruder spied, but he's not actually activating anything?
Intruder spied.
Why? And this is just giving me an empty box? Yeah, this doesn't seem right, does it? This is still galvanized. This... All of this sort of feels as if I've potentially overlooked some... You know, I don't know... main way of dealing with these? Uh-huh. Okay. Did that also get rid of all the other ones? Because at least that way I would be able to get everybody back here without... No, these are still here, though. Huh? Why are these still here? This is all strange. So that lever got rid of the ones that weren't actively doing anything anyways? I just want to have my party with me though. And now all of these traps seem to be completely inconsequential? Well, okay. Nothing in there. I can't pick this up, interestingly enough, but I can move it. Wait, path block? What? Oh boy, this is gonna take a while. There was nothing beneath it though. Okay, so there's a lever here that gets rid of the sentinels. I don't fully understand why it wouldn't get rid of the other ones too. That is so strange. And then some of the sentinels aren't even doing anything for some reason. This is all... They seriously can't be suggesting that this is what you're supposed to be doing here. I mean, again, there clearly might be other ways of dealing with this if you have other classes available, but still, even with what I just did, I don't think this should be... Well, here's the thing, right? I don't think it should actually be solvable this way, to be completely honest. Like, because it doesn't feel like it has logical consistency to it now, right? Because now we have sentinels here that are somehow an object, but also not. Then we have a lever that gets rid of these sentinels. But for the other ones, we don't seem to have levers. And then also they didn't seem to do anything, yet the other ones still teleport me and actually do stuff. So yeah, they all work slightly differently, and none of them seem to work with any logical consistency is the biggest issue here for me. Right? Because especially since they're all in sort of roughly the same area here, it feels like you should be able to deal with them in the same way. I mean, in some fun way, you know, looking at what I'm doing here now, it is cool that the game does allow you to solve it like this. Makes it seem more of a puzzle that you yourself are actually overcoming, rather than something that the developers designed as a puzzle like this. But yeah, I don't know. Also, yeah, as I said, moving these boxes like this is ridiculous. They should at least allow you to... I get the idea of tying this to a strength stat of some kind, but I don't know, they should allow you to do this in another manner, honestly. Okay, so now in theory it would stand on the trap. Right. So at least that works. Cool. Well. Let's get everybody together again.
Our enemies have laid a trap.
And quick save.
Intruder spied. Intruder spied.
I mean, maybe Lillian is able to discover a lever that I just wasn't able to see. Though I'm honestly somewhat confused that I was able to see, you know, other traps. Though... I mean, I guess I don't really have to interact with that other room that teleported me anymore, because technically we got past it, I suppose. Well, let's see what this does. Oh. Okay, that's a very cool effect on the door. Where the hell am I now? Wait, this is a separate map? What? Fuck's sake, another one? Ugh. Okay, well. Don't know where the hell we are now, but... it certainly looks awesome. That's lava again, though, right? Will that... wait. Will that break the chest? In theory, it should survive that. Because that would be funny if that's possible. And again, somewhat inconsistent that we would be able to do this through these metal bars, yet we wouldn't... yet we weren't able to teleport over those stone spikes. I mean, granted, the spikes were higher, and I suppose they blocked our sight. Wait, did I quick save? Teleportation. The hardest, most dense mineral in all of Rivellon. For hangite. Okay. Well, why was it hidden there? It didn't really seem to be, you know... Wait, by the way, could I have teleported that freaking metal crate as well? Probably would have saved some time. Yeah, it feels like I kind of bypassed whatever puzzle they wanted you to solve here. Let's see, one-handed. This is only level 10. +1 speed, +1 leadership. Pickpocketing, +2 initiative, immunity to slowed. Requires strength 7. Feels like this would be used in some sort of special weapon forging process. Lore Master. Okay. This one's better though. Well, is it really? Wait, where's the one that I just got? Okay, so the one that I just found is technically slightly worse in terms of damage output, but the fact that it gives you +1 speed, +1 leadership might be pretty good. Yeah, sure. Let's take it. Well, these just have way more armor rating. I don't really understand why... Both require strength 7. The one on the right are 1 level higher, granted, but they have 12 more armor rating? I guess the game rolls them with less armor rating if they have other like attributes on them. But that feels kind of cheap. I don't know. Doesn't that greatly diminish the sort of the stuff that you can find? I mean, I don't constantly want to decrease my armor rating just so that I can take advantage of any sort of additional attributes that are on things, like on loot. I think this is literally the same thing, right, that I just got? Oh no, it was +1 Lawmaster. Never mind. I don't know what I was expecting here, but I didn't just expect some random chests. I thought that this would have been some sort of, you know, potential way to maybe, I don't know, find out some secrets about King Boreas. Technically, you're also able to access this with, before fighting him, right? If you're able to somehow get past the, That's safe. Isn't this just straight? Yeah, okay. Well, this I can teleport as well, which is pretty dumb that just works. This is galvanized for some reason. Oh, the imp has something next to him. Okay, well... Let's see, let's disconnect my main character again. Ink pockets. He doesn't have anything on him. Oh, what's the camera doing? I don't remember that being a thing. Where's the... I feel like the potion bottle might be underground somewhere. Okay, let's take a look at this. Im's notes. Read. I don't know why Master Boreas has banished me here. The king has grown quite mad. One moment I was merely polishing the statues of his throne room. The next I was plunked unceremoniously in this unfortunate spot. If I move from here, the sentinel to my left will kill me. If I stay, I will surely die of thirst. I suppose this vial of poison will be my last and final friend. Oh god. Well, that's a bleak outlook. So this imp killed himself with poison? What the... So he's not even giving me any sort of way to deal with... Really? I don't get it. I'm honestly beginning to think that there has to be a spell or something that allows you to remove the galvanized status. I'm just pretty sure that I don't have whatever you need for this. Because, what? Yeah, I don't think that any of these are gonna work on it, right? Still galvanized. Oh, this is so strange. Oh god. Why was my... Okay, let's wait for that again. I'm not trusting this.
Intruder spied.
Intruder spied. Nope. Completely invulnerable. This is so strange. This is so strange. They can't make these things completely invulnerable, yet give you no actual solution as to actually, you know, get past them or solve this. Okay. Let's just teleport the chest over here instead of, you know...
Easy does it.
Trying to get past those sentinel.
Intruder spied.
Anything else here? I mean, if there would have been a lever or something over there, then surely the imp would have actually used it, but... And then you just find absolutely nothing. These two chests have been completely irrelevant. And it even looks so cool, right? You approach this thing and you think, oh, there must be something super special hidden here, right? Something that Boreas might have hidden away for some special reason or something, right? But nope, it's literally just two chests with random loot in them. Sure. And then even the imps notes didn't even... I mean, I guess they're supposed to, like, you know, tell you a little bit more about what's been going on here, or make you sympathize with the imps a little bit more, but... I guess the only way is go out again. But well, the weirdest part about all of this is that this didn't get me one step closer to actually get whatever weird scroll the well wants to have, right? Because now all of this is solved. I've been everywhere here, and I've actually opened up this gate as well. I mean, sure, these two sentinels are still active over here that can teleport you away, but... I guess I can take a look at these metal crates and the other crates that are here still. But I don't think... What? Oh. Ha! Oopsie. Almost killed Medora. And she wouldn't have minded.
See the white light.
Okay, so this sentinel wasn't even responsible for activating that stuff. He was just standing on a trap button. Okay, that actually made me more confused than... God, this is all so strange. Oh, shit. Okay. Oops. Ah, well. Where's she?
Bless the seven. I am restored.
Okay. You guys heal up. I'm gonna take a look at these crates. Hey, a knockdown arrow. Fuse. Funnily enough, they do teleport you without actually dealing damage, huh? Yeah, I feel like that metal crate might have some sort of solution to all of this. What? What happened? Was the spell unsuccessful for some reason? That was strange. Yeah, I don't fully get what the lever is for. Or does it... Wait, does it maybe change where they teleport you to? No. I mean, that wouldn't make much sense, right? Because technically you're approaching the lever first. Wait, what is happening? What the hell? Oh, please don't tell me I can't... Well, I would be able to teleport, but... Is being invisible bugged now? Mythical Monkey, hey, good morning. Can I use the teleport skill on the Sentinels? That's a good question. I just somehow thought that they were completely invulnerable to anything I do. Because so far they seem to have been. Seriously, how's that out of sight? I don't understand why I can't make myself invisible anymore. How is that still out of sight? Seriously. Guess I would have to try that with the other one that I can see better without being teleported. Why? Okay, now it worked. That was strange. There must have actually been a bug then. That I wasn't able to become invisible. I can try on the one back here. It would be funny if you could actually teleport them.
Intruders by.
You actually can. Okay, that is... That is just weird. Okay. I almost feel like that shouldn't be possible. Okay. It also seemed to have disabled it, potentially? Oh, whoops. It's still galvanized, though. It's not saying intruder spied anymore, but maybe it's... Yeah, it doesn't feel like that's... Oh no, it's still saying that. Wait, it also turned. I don't get these puzzles. I feel like these require way too specific solutions, if this is actually the solution. Or I'm just brute forcing something that you're not actually able to do. Maeve just broke the AI, yeah. I mean, to be completely fair, the AI was doing weird stuff here to begin with. Because I already disabled the trap that Sentinel was connected to, so it wasn't even doing anything anymore, but it still obviously kept saying intruder spied, and... Well... Okay, so the problem is here, though. These will... No, wait, these turn, right? Yeah. So I need to wait for them to turn and then teleport them, I guess. Wait, am I... Can I see it? It's considered out of sight. This is probably going to be really finicky. We'll see, though.
Intruders.
How did the other one... I disagree with that. You shouldn't be able to see me if I'm behind this corner, but I guess it still counts as being seen. Wait, how did I... I actually forgot how to... No. Shit. What's the correct button for it? This is not it. Oh, right. What did I just do? Let's see overhead view. This is sneaking, right. Okay, so as long as that one's turned that way... Nope. That didn't seem right either. It doesn't look like as if the other one is actually looking this far. Okay, let's not make it this complicated.
Freeze and draft obscure me!
What is happening? Can I not become invisible while standing on the staircase? Is that what's preventing me from... Or is it because I'm too close? It might be because I'm too close to the statues? Maybe there's like a hidden modifier to the spell because they've already seen me, but can't be activated because I'm not in their actual vision cone? Something like that? Still doesn't really seem right, but... I mean, clearly their vision cones are also not entirely accurate, I feel like. Oh wait, maybe I wasn't fast enough. Shit. Oh, wait, what? Okay, yeah, that was... I don't think this is intended. Yeah, I really don't think you're supposed to be able to do this. I don't think I would be able to get out of this. He's not even looking my way, though. I honestly wouldn't have thought that they would activate this quickly either. Wait, did I... Oh. Yeah, I think I actually broke the game. I can't access the menu. I also can't change the character. I can't go to the character selection either. Oh boy. When did I last quick save? Well, can't have been too long ago. Let's see. Let me just quickly do this. Let's see. I'm just going to restart and hopefully I will be able to load in a point where it wasn't broken. Well, okay, so I could in theory try this because the problem of why I got sucked into this eternal teleportation issue is because let's get back here. Because I accidentally, because I wasn't fast enough, I accidentally teleported it to... Oh, this is where it quick saved. Okay, well, that's fine. Let's just pick everything up that I picked up earlier. Yeah, I accidentally teleported it exactly to the point where you get teleported to if they see you, right? So in theory, if I would be able to teleport them somewhere else instead of there, then I should be able to I would be able to get rid of them in theory. Target is blocked, really? Is my party in the way? Probably. Okay. Come over here real quick. I don't know, as cool as it is that they allow you to do this, stuff like this, right? Just teleporting the chest over to you in order to access it. That is something that most games wouldn't really allow you to do, but at the same time, sometimes it doesn't even feel like they intended you to be able to do this. And then I always keep asking myself, well, what would I do if I played a party that didn't have either invisibility nor teleportation available to them? I mean, I guess you can... In theory, you would be able to recruit another party member, so you might be able to just get them into your party for a time, grab this stuff, and then just change your party back. But honestly, I mean, there has to be a way to do this. I don't know, maybe that's just my modern game perspective. Maybe they actually did intend you to not be able to get past certain things if you have certain, I guess, disadvantageous party combinations or something. But yeah, that just doesn't seem right for some reason. And this entire thing with, well, let's quick save to not be trapped again. Well, yeah, this entire section just seems honestly quite strange to me. As if they've not really even intended that you'd have any sort of solution to this. I don't get it. And then the same with the scrolls, right? Technically, I guess you can get every spell as a scroll, which would then, in theory, also allow you to be able to utilize them without having to have a magician character, sorcerer, whatever, that can utilize these spells. But then, I don't think that most of the available scrolls are necessarily always the same. So I'm fairly certain that the vendors you can talk to that potentially have these available are randomized to a degree. So it wouldn't even necessarily have the have all the stuff available. Oh, this is just... Well, let me do one other thing though. Let's teleport this metal crate, if I can do that. How is that out of sight? Really? Okay. Let's get this over here. Because I wanted to check what this lever does. Ah. Okay, so the lever teleports the metal crate back. I have no clue what that... why that would help you, though. I guess the intention here then might be that you're supposed to grab the metal crate and place it in front of the statues so that they can't see you anymore? Or aren't they way bigger than the crate though? I mean, it might block their line of sight for some reason. But without having teleport available, how would you even get the crate? And why is there a lever that teleports it back to you or back over here? I don't even get what the purpose of that would be. Ah, well. The biggest issue of all, though, is that all my experimentation here with the Sentinel statues didn't actually help me get closer to opening up the barrier behind the castle. So I was somehow sure that since this sort of optional path was the only one that I hadn't looked at yet in Heilbeheim, that it would also potentially pose the solution to being able to open up this barrier back here. But since that's also still non-interactable, there seem to be more puzzles and whatnot back here. Oh yeah, that is actually his treasure room. Treasure room. So I was correct in assuming that, because on the map it, like the golden hue, shine, whatever, made me think that it was something like that. Okay, so... That does make me think that the scroll that the well needs probably is located in that very treasure room. Give me a second. Okay. Well, what will I do? What will I do? I guess... Okay, so... with the knowledge that I can potentially just teleport these statues around, I would, in theory, probably be able to access these puzzles back here with the wishing well more easily. Though, well, it might turn out to be really, really finicky as well, because the way in which you would have to teleport these statues for it to actually work and to not accidentally still trigger one of the traps would probably be very strange. And then I would still have to lockpick the gate for some reason. Even though, shouldn't I be able to teleport the chest out of there as well? But I don't know if it counts that gate the same as the one that I previously encountered with the flames and whatnot. Anyways, unfortunately I will have to stop here for today. Hopefully I will be able to play a lot more in the coming week, but I still have to do some IRL stuff today. So unfortunately this will have to be the end of the stream for now. I will definitely return to Divinity on Sunday though. Sunday morning is going to be more Divinity, and then I'll be hopefully able to actually move past all of these weird puzzles I will be looking at the Wishing Well in their quest a little bit more as well, but yeah. Sadly, that's going to be it for now. A little bit more Final Fantasy this evening because we're still progging Dragon Song's Reprise. And then Sunday, more Divinity. Hopefully... Well... No matter what happens to these statues, hopefully I will have more time on Sunday and then can actually continue with the story rather than having to fiddle with these weird puzzles. Anyways though, thanks for chatting, thanks for hanging out, take care as well, and hope you have a good rest of your day, evening, morning, wherever you are, and see you hopefully on the next one. Bye bye!